Hey friends, it's Rosalind. Welcome back to our gardens and our tiny flower farm. It is mid-September and it is time to do our monthly garden walk. Some of the flowers are still blooming so beautifully, so I thought we really need to get in here before we get frost or the temperatures turn colder. I guess Maxine is going to help us with this garden tour. So I thought we would just maybe stop a little at each of the gardens and peek at some of the things that are in bloom. Out here in the perennial cut flower garden, it's mostly roses and some dahlias that are blooming. This rose I planted earlier this summer. It's called Moonlight Romantica. I believe that's the name of it. Isn't it such a pretty rose? I'm just imagining it when this evergreen, this is a thin man arborvitae, when that will grow up and it'll accent this rose. As we come into this pathway, I did plant boxwoods on each side to kind of bring more of a formal touch. I do have two more down there at that end that need to be planted, but these are more of a, like, you can shape them into a cone shape. They grow 4 to 5 feet tall and only 2 to 3 feet wide. Princess Charlene on this obelisk is currently not blooming, but if we turn this way, Cornell Brown's dahlia is putting on a show finally. I have waited all summer for it to get some blooms. It's filled with buds and it's just started to bloom, which is so fun because a lot of the other things out here in this garden are kind of going out of bloom. So it's fun to see the dahlias bloom. Coco Loco Rose is one that I had planted, I think it was back in May as bare root roses. There's another one over here. This one looks prettier, I believe. It's a bit more tall, but isn't that color so pretty? It gets more of that lavender color as the temperatures start cooling. It's such a pretty rose, kind of like cocoa colors in the undertones, and this is what it fades out to. As we walk back here to this obelisk, this is stainless steel rose, and every time I post about this rose on Instagram, everybody asks, what is that rose? I mean, oh, just look at that color. It has like this antique color that I can't even describe. Let's see if we can get a closer peek at this one. Isn't it so pretty? And the color is, it's like a lavender color, but it's so hard to describe. And when it opens up, this is how big the flower head gets. Like, this is compared to my hand. It makes the prettiest cut flower. As we walk along the front of the garden, this is black-eyed Susans that I had planted in here last summer, and they just kind of reseeded themselves around. So I've just been letting them do their thing because they do bring some pretty fall color out here. And along the front of the garden, the Earth Angel Rose has started blooming again. Oh, this rose is just, oh my goodness. Look at that flower. It has, I think it has 100 plus petals per flower. So pretty. There's another one over here. This one only has a couple of blooms. We'll have to take one more peek at Earth Angel Rose before we head over to the other garden. Oh, that rose. Highly recommend growing this one in your own garden. We have been blessed with some very sunny and warm days here in northern Indiana, growing zone 5B/6A, and I have been loving every second of it because I know it won't last forever. These two planters in front of the garage, I think I'm going to just leave them the way they are. I'm not even going to plant anything fallish in here because the hummingbirds have been all over these two planters. They love the salvia in here and they're still looking so good. I just can't get myself to take these out. So probably in October, after the hummingbirds fly south, I will come in here and just plant our winter evergreens in here. In just a second, we'll head out to the back cut flower garden, but first I wanted to show you some of the flowers over here by the patio garden. This is something that is so fun. Well, first of all, this planter has done so well. This is a plant that the hummingbirds love. It's, oh, what is it called? Fuchsia? And it's so pretty and unique. But this is what's been so fun. So last summer, I had planted foxglove in here and I just let them, like, I just took off the spent stems and I took those seed heads and just sprinkled them all over. And this spring we had a whole bunch of foxglove plants come up And we have some that are blooming in September. Isn't that so fun? I think I'm going to remove the sweet pea perennial vine because it's really getting out of control. Like it's growing out over this hydrangea and it's looking a little too wild for my taste. The lamium is blooming again underneath the bobo hydrangeas. Such a fun area this time of year. Up here on the patio, all of the annuals are still looking very good. I've been very surprised because I quit fertilizing them probably end of August already. And they're still going so beautifully just with a simple watering. This fountain that we created together a couple weeks ago, the birds love it, even more than the bees do. Are you leading us, Maxine? Along the front border, there's not a whole lot of things in bloom besides the hydrangeas are looking beautiful. The creeping phlox there in the corner it's been blooming all summer long, which is so fun. This rose is giving us another flush of blooms, and this is usually covered with honeybees and the bumblebees. They really love those open-faced roses. Do you remember when we planted up this raised bed a couple of weeks ago? Look at it, the carrots, the radish, the squash, everything is coming along beautifully. So we should have some tasty fall crops. Harlow Car Rose, I don't know what it is, but once cooler weather of September arrives, it just takes off and it blooms until we receive freezing weather, which is very fun because we can always use color this time of year in the gardens. As we walk into the cut flower garden, I have a new plan that I want to do for this pathway. So on this side of the pathway, we have our cottage cutting border. And then we've always grown vegetables right up to this edge of the pathway. But you can see that I've started pulling back the cover. We lay down this cover every summer before or I should say in spring, before we plant our seeds in here. And I'm going to take it back to about here and create a border all the way back to close to the chicken coop. And it will just be filled with, you can see that I already planted one peony root here from our peonies that we divided last week. So it'll have peonies, there will be hydrangeas and probably roses. And then I want to plant spring flowering bulbs in here as well. The Russian sage is still looking good. And these super bells, oh, I didn't realize how much I'm going to enjoy this color once it comes into late summer and early fall. Such a pretty color. The hibiscus is still blooming. It's looking very pretty in here with this hydrangea. This is, oh, what is it called? It's the small limelight, one that doesn't get quite as tall, like 3 feet tall maybe. And then we have sedum back planted. These will grow taller. They're just still baby plants. Then we have lavender planted in front of the sedum. We'll have to turn this way. Look back a little bit. I love this view. We're keeping our silky chickens underneath the grape arbor, and we have everything penned off because we had a hawk trying to get to them once or twice already. And so I just keep them separate from our other chickens because the hawks generally don't bother the bigger chickens, but the silkies are quite a bit smaller. So we just keep them separate for now. Eventually, I would love to turn this arbor into my little greenhouse. Wouldn't that be sweet? We'd maybe have to remove this butterfly bush and have a little pathway going right in here. There's Mama Hen with her baby chicks. Oh, they're so sweet. The herb garden is still doing very well. Marigolds are looking very sweet. This basil, this is Thai basil that I had started from seed this spring. It smells so good. I love using it in cut flower arrangements, and any tomato dish that we make, we add that basil into it. It's so tasty. Another plant that I've been using a lot of for cut flower arrangements is the scented geranium. I never knew that scented geranium smells so delightful, but I just take a sprig like this and add it into a cut flower arrangement. It has a nice scent, adds the green to the cut flower arrangement. chives that we had started from seed using the winter sowing method, they're blooming. It is underplanted with, why can I not think of the name of this? There's some more over here, right beside our rose. Anna's hyssop is another one that it started blooming in early summer, early to midsummer, and it has been blooming ever since, and it has been covered in pollinators ever since. You see the bumble on there? Actually, there's a lot of bumbles on here. The vegetable garden has been such a sweet place this summer. You can see we've harvested like all of our potatoes and early summer things. So that is all cleaned out, but we still have our tomatoes, there's kale, there's sweet potatoes, more basil and cabbage. But I need to bring my garden journal out here and just jot down like things that I would like to do a little differently next year. There's some peppers. We have our rhubarb over here. As we walk back down the pathway where we came in, I forgot to show you the sedum that is blooming in here. Is such a pretty flower this time of year. It's usually covered in butterflies. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there is some on there right now. And the Japanese anemones, I planted them this summer, so they're still a small plant, but they are blooming and looking so pretty, and they will eventually just completely fill in this spot, which I think will be so fun up against the Russian sage. And as we come back this way, so when we walk in here, we will have our border right along here. They want to create a little pathway that comes over here. I'll remove this rhubarb and just have the pathway coming over here to the raised beds because we have another one over there. As we walk over here, if you would walk under the arbor into the cut flower garden behind this fence in the summertime, it is filled with Sahara black-eyed Susans. I had started these from seeds, and I just have like a couple of plants, planted them in here, but just by letting them go to seed every summer, the seeds drop down and I have a whole bunch new plants every summer. And the birds love eating those seeds as well. Over here, I'm so excited to show this mint to you. I got this from my mother-in-law's garden yesterday. I just got some roots out of her garden and transplanted it into this container. This is a variety of mint that I have not been able to find at any garden centers or any seeds for it. The only place I have found it is in Amish gardens. So my mother-in-law is Amish, and she has like this big raised bed filled with this mint. So yesterday I asked if I could have just some starts to plant into my own garden. And then she also gave me a wisteria plant that came off of her own wisteria. So that will eventually go into the raised bed garden. We do have some more mint. This is mountain mint, and then we have chocolate mint mixed in with some peppermint. As we walk this way, all of the dahlias are finally blooming. I feel like I feel like they've just been behind this year. We'll have to get a close-up of the dahlias. Molly Raven is one that I got from Eden Brothers this spring. It's the first year that I grew it. It's such a pretty one to add into late summer and early fall bouquets. Back here, Cafe au lait dahlias. There's one here and one over here. This one has more of that antique cream color to it. I have a lot of my dahlias covered up with these little mesh cloths so the Japanese beetles and some of the other beetles can't get to them. I'll just have to uncover this one. You can see this one has more pink compared to that one. Cornell Bronze Dahlia is another one that is so pretty to use in late summer and early fall bouquets. This is one of my favorites. I love ball dahlias because I feel like their vase life is a bit longer than the decorative dahlias or like the Cafe au lait dahlias. Over here, Sweet Natalie Dahlia. Isn't she so pretty? Then if we swing over here, this is another one that I got from Eden Brothers this spring, and it's called, let's see if I can shade it so you can see it better. It's called Pink Pearl. I got it because of our little dog named Pearl, but I think it's such a pretty one as well, kind of similar to Sweet Natalie. As we continue on down through the dahlia patch, you might notice that I didn't stake any of my dahlias this year. I was doing a little experiment to see how they do compared to being staked. So far they've done pretty well. This is brown sugar. You see it kind of has like that red in the center, and then the outer petals are more kind of an orange. And this is what it looks like when it completely opens up. So pretty. Right beside brown sugar, we have cornel, and this is a dahlia that, oh, I feel like every fall garden needs cornel dahlia in it. Such a pretty ball dahlia. And as we turn this way, this is peaches, or peaches and cream. Another one that is so pretty as the weather starts turning cooler. You see over here, this one's a bit more open. I should just take this off. Such a pretty color, and it has a very full bloom. That is it for the dahlias that are currently blooming. As we swing this way, these zinnias are still putting on the prettiest show. They have been blooming off their little heads all summer long. Over here we have a celosia that is from Floret Flower Farm. Thinking this is, oh, is it vintage rose? It's so pretty in late summer and early fall bouquets. Right beside that, we still have our butterfly pea flowers blooming. We have made so much tea. I have dried so many flowers that I've been letting some of them go to seed so we can collect seed from them. We were just in there looking at the dahlias, and now we are out here on this border, the cottage cutting border. There is some fun things that are blooming out here. The sedum, I think I'm going to be removing this sedum because this variety just flops. But as you can see, I got this off of my sedum that I have over in the other border, and it stays more compact and it doesn't split in half like this. And the apricot lemonade cosmos. Oh, this cosmo. I feel like everybody needs to have it in their garden. It is such a pretty, soft, and whimsical color. As we continue on down this border, this is a chrysanthemum that I planted, was it 2 summers ago? And this is what it looks like every fall. It is just covered in blooms, and oftentimes it has a lot of butterflies on it as well. It is backed up by a viburnum. I can't think of the name right now, but it gets these pink berries. Some of them are blue in fall. It has such pretty fall interest. Back here, you see that these leaves have started turning to their fall color. And up against those berries, it is so pretty. Oh, there's a big spider web. Won't get close to that. But the fairy garden is looking so sweet. Earlier this summer, I forgot to water it a few times and it kind of crisped up, but I started watering it again and it is just completely filled with flowers. Give you a closer peek at it. Before we head over to a cozy little nook that I wanted to show to you, this will eventually be our raised bed garden, but I wanted to show this sweet autumn clematis to you. Mama again with her baby chicks. Oh, maybe I don't want to get too close. The honeybees are going a little crazy right now. But this sweet autumn clematis right beside the beehive is so pretty, filled with blooms. As we walk past the grape arbor and we swing over, this is our sunflower patch. You can see they're pretty much all done blooming, but I have just been letting the birds enjoy these sunflowers. The finches have been all over the sunflower patch, as well as the cardinals. There's some more apricot lemonade cosmos. But this is the little cozy corner that I wanted to show to you. We have a little bistro set in here. So this is kind of what I'm imagining. As you walk into this secret little corner, we might move this little garden shed out to the road and use it as our flower stand and add in something else right in here. But we have our little bistro set here. And then as you walk this way, I don't know what I would plant in here, but if this would be the greenhouse eventually, can you imagine just walking down this pathway with flowers on both sides, and then we'd have our little greenhouse back there? Oh, hopefully one day soon. All right, friends, I think we have come to the end of the garden tour and we lost Maxine somewhere along the way. Thank you for walking through the gardens today with me. Have an amazing week in your own gardens, and I will see you right back here next Saturday. Bye.